If you've been doing endless squats and donkey kicks hoping to grow your glutes, you might want to pause right there. What if I told you that some of the most popular glute exercises you're doing are barely activating the muscles they're supposed to target? And even worse, some are wasting your time completely. Today, we're diving into what science actually says about glute training and exposing the best and worst exercises for real results. This isn't guesswork. We're breaking it down with EMG studies, biomechanics, and some cold, hard facts. Picture this. You've been grinding in the gym, feeling the burn, pushing through your glute day routine religiously. But your progress? Now imagine there's a study out there showing that one of your favorite exercises activates your glutes less than walking up a staircase. Yeah, it's that serious. And that's why today's video might completely change the way you train your glutes from here on out. Because once you know what actually works, there's no going back. Let's start with one of the most overrated moves in glute training, the bodyweight squat. It's a classic, easy to do anywhere, no equipment needed. But here's the thing. Research shows that bodyweight squats barely stimulate the glute max unless you're going really deep or adding a significant load. And even then, other muscles like your quads tend to dominate. A 2020 EMG study compared glute activation during various lower body exercises. And guess what? Bodyweight squats came in near the bottom of the list for glute engagement. Next on the chopping block, standing kickbacks using ankle weights or cables. These look fancy, and yes, you feel a burn, but EMG data tells a different story. These isolated movements create minimal activation in the glute max. The movement pattern is inefficient and often recruits more lower back and hamstrings than your actual glutes. It's basically a TikTok favorite with minimal return on investment. Now let's talk hip abduction machines. You know the one. Sit, open and close your legs like you're working a thigh master from the 90s. While you do get some glute medius activation, it's far from optimal. And here's where things get interesting. When compared to compound movements like hip thrusts or lunges, the machine ranks much lower on the effectiveness scale. So if those are the duds, what actually works? Let's start with the barbell hip thrust. This is the king of glute activation. A landmark study by Brett Contreras, aka the Glute Guy, showed that hip thrusts outperform squats when it comes to maximum glute contraction. Why? The glutes are strongest when the hips are in full extension, and the hip thrust challenges that range more directly than most exercises. Plus, it minimizes quad involvement, so the glutes do more of the heavy lifting. Then we have Romanian deadlifts. Not only are they excellent for the posterior chain, but they emphasize the stretch under tension principle, something glutes respond incredibly well to. The RDL recruits the glute max through a loaded eccentric phase, which has been shown to stimulate more hypertrophy compared to just focusing on contraction. Walking lunges are another powerhouse. They target all three glute muscles, glute max, medius, and minimus, especially when performed with a slight forward lean. The unilateral nature of lunges also helps correct imbalances and improves coordination, making them functional and effective. Step-ups, done properly, are also backed by science. Studies show that a high step-up forces the glutes to activate significantly, especially when you push through the heel and avoid momentum from the trailing leg. And don't underestimate cable pull-throughs or banded glute bridges. These add a horizontal load, which mimics the hip thrust and can be more joint-friendly for those who struggle with heavy barbell movements. But here's the kicker. It's not just about picking the right exercises. It's also about execution. Range of motion, time under tension, and proper form matter more than how heavy you're lifting. If you're doing hip thrusts but only going halfway up, you're not going to get the maximum glute engagement. If your lunges are rushed and wobbly, you're missing out on the tension that sparks growth. And yes, consistency matters. You can't do one set of hip thrusts on Monday and expect a J-Lo transformation by Friday. Muscle growth takes time, progressive overload, and variety, especially when it comes to the glutes, which are stubborn by nature. So the next time you're planning your glute workout, remember, more isn't better. Smarter is better. Drop the fluff exercises and focus on what's been proven to work. Swap out those kickbacks and high-rep squats for hip thrusts, RDLs, and lunges with purpose. Train with intention, back it up with science, and your results will speak for themselves. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more evidence-based fitness tips that actually work. Let's stop wasting time and start training smarter. See you in the next one, and don't skip Glute Day.